Your Excellency Ambassador Tashome Toga, Commissioner of the National Rehabilitation Commission, Excellency and friend Ambassador Ronald Kobian, EU Ambassador to Ethiopia, Excellency friend Dr. Ramiz, UN Resident Humanitarian Representative to Ethiopia, Excellency friend Mr. Samuel Doe, UNDP representative, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good afternoon today, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this signing ceremony where we're going to sign the grant agreement between the European Union and the Ethiopian UNDP. This resource is going to be money that's going to be used for the national demobilization and rehabilitation program. NRC, with the support of development partners, particularly UNDP, developed a national demobilization and reintegration program, which is expected to play a major role in the transition of combatants into a peaceful way of life. This program plays a critical role in the building of peace in Ethiopia. The national program is developed targeting over 370 ex-combatants, considering specific needs of women, children, and disabled people in the DDR process. The implementation of the DDR program will follow a phased approach, which among others includes verification, registration, demobilization, psychosocial and civil training, reinsertion, and reintegration of ex-combatants. DDR is a resource-intensive program in its nature and requires the concerted support of our partners and the Ethiopian government to make success the program as initially designed. I really appreciate the European Union for being the first partner to come forward to support this program. This means a great deal to the Ethiopian government. It's the commitment of the European Union that the European Union shows to the Ethiopian people in ensuring that Ethiopia moves towards a more peaceful trajectory in the country's history. EU's long-standing partnership is also demonstrated in various programs that are implemented in the country, for which we are grateful and appreciative. It's my sincere hope that the demobilization process will be conducted based on the timelines set out in the program. The government is committed to support the DDR process as committed in the program document, and provisions of technical and financial supports will be important in creating an enabling environment for its effectiveness. Finally, I would like to thank EU in general and Ambassador Ronald specifically for this and extending the support for Ethiopia for DDR and other programs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency Samarita, the State Minister for Finance, Ambassador Kobian, Dr. Ramki, and Mr. Samuel, friends, colleagues, good afternoon to you all. Let me begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the EU, and particularly to the EU delegation and Ambassador Kobian for finally bringing us to this stage where we are getting the first move from EU in terms of financial support for DDR. This support could have not come at a better time than now, as we have more or less concluded our preparation to undertake our first launching of demobilization. In that regard, this resource has a lot of significance and importance. As I have been saying, that this is the first initial support from EU, and I do hope and expect for more support to come from EU and its member states. Now, as we all know, DDR is one of the critical components of the cessation of hostilities agreement that has brought to an end the 2-year devastating war in northern part of Ethiopia. Again, we have characterized DDR as one of very sensitive, very urgent, and very complex process. As just my colleague State Minister said, that we are addressing actually one of the largest DDR problems currently in the world. And we have a huge caseload, which actually made the whole project very costly. But the hope is that we are here together. Even today we see 4 institutions coming together, 2 from the government side and 2 from our international partners, EU and the United Nations. So, Ambassador, allow me to sincerely express our sincere appreciation to you and to your team here, and of course to you, all EU institutions. Dr. Ramsey and Samuel, of course, we are very grateful to what the UN country team and UNDP has been doing. We have mandated UNDP to undertake resource mobilization of basket funds for DDR. We have done preparatory work for almost a year, and it is time that after a year and over of Pretoria, and after a year and over since our establishment as National Rehabilitation Commission, I think it's time that we really take the first move. I know that we have even a very long way in terms of mobilizing the necessary support even for our first phase of launching the 75,000 ex-combatants for Tigray region. In that regard, I believe that the support we have just received or receiving from EU would inspire other countries, I think, to be part of this critical component of the cessation of hostilities agreement. It is very simple, I think, because we are addressing, I think, people who have been in the war, people who have been actually affected by the war, people who expect to go back to their communities as urgently as possible. And in that regard, the work the National Rehabilitation Commission is doing is very critical. As again, the State Minister said, the government of Ethiopia is very much committed. It's ready to put its part of the contribution. This is in a very advanced state of consultation among ourselves. The request we have made is under discussion. We are also very much encouraged that all partners have come together, and since we started DDR launch in December, I think the momentum is building, and my call here is to really make sure that that momentum is strengthened and moved forward. Slowing down the momentum will not be helpful at all. And the team at NRC, with the support from our federal institutions, including, of course, with our partners, we are ready to undertake the first mobilization if everything goes as planned in May. And that definitely makes it very imperative that the resource mobilization should be strengthened. I look forward to make sure that this resource goes to the beneficiaries. Transparency and accountability has been an issue, and we would like to assure our partners from EU. EU is not a new partner to Ethiopia. We know each other very well. We have been working together for so long. So, Ambassador Kobia, you can be rest assured that this resource will be well used. It will be used for what it is meant for. And again, thank you very much. And State Minister Samalita, thank you again for your support from this side. And my sincere gratitude again to UNDP, to UN country team who have been working with us and are also continuing to work with us. Dr. Ramsey, again, your support is very critical. And that's why I think today is a very important day in terms of actually resource mobilization for DDR. Thank you again, and we look forward to continue working together.
Look, I would like to recognize, of course, Her Excellency, State Minister Semereta, and to particularly thank you for all your work and support with the international partners. This is extremely appreciated. Ambassador Teshobe, I would like to recognize also the Assistant Secretary General, Dr. Ramiz, who is very ably and dynamically leading the UN here. Thank you very much for all your efforts. And of course, Dr. Samuel also for your new leadership in the UNDP. Voilà. I would like to start with what you just said, Ambassador Teshobe, about the fact that we are all represented here. And indeed, I think this is the only solution and the only way forward, is to have a real working together, both the different institutions of Ethiopia, but also international partners. And I'm very happy that we partner, with UN and with UNDP more particularly in this endeavor. So very delighted to start, the signature today of this very important first contribution. And as you said, Ambassador, we were very happy to be the first ones. It's not only about the money. It's not only about the 16 million. It's also about the political signal that this sends to other partners that we as EU recognize that DDR is a very important issue for not only directly the implementation of COHA and the ex-combatants, but really for the peace in the country, for the resolution of conflicts beyond Tigray, and for the reconstruction socially and economically of the country. So that was, in a way, one of the reasons why we wanted to come in early, and we hope that this will be followed by others. I would like to highlight also, of course, the crucial role that your institution, the National Rehabilitation Commission, plays in the implementation of the COHA, which we all support, notably in the still complex environment and context in which we are, and with increasing tensions in different fronts across the country. We would like to acknowledge also that the DDR process is one of the largest and possibly the most complex DDR processes in the world. And I do not always would like to be in your shoes. Dr. Ramiz, Samuel and myself have difficult jobs, but sometimes we find that they are even more difficult jobs around there. So over the past year, I have personally, with my team, very closely followed the preparatory process of the DDR, and let me, in that sense, congratulate the Commission, the National Rehabilitation Commission, and notably your leadership, Ambassador Teshome, for all the efforts in this sense, and as I said, very complicated. Secondly, congratulations and thanks to the UN and notably UNDP for being a great partner in this. We have worked together for many months now. I still remember the very first meetings we had in my residence about our contribution to UNDP and all the discussions that were taken, and I'm happy that this is materializing. Our support to the DDR also comes with a firm belief that Ethiopia, will find and has the political will to find the pathways for dialogue and consensus, and ultimately, because this is what we are talking about, for peace across the country in all areas, politically, economically, and socially. So once again, I want to reiterate that the EU contribution and the European citizens' money is also, driven towards the people of Ethiopia, and it's not for a process. It's ultimately for all the people of Ethiopia that will be the ultimate beneficiaries of that. Since I arrived in Ethiopia 2.5 years ago, time flies. I have seen, the growing, unfortunately, social fragmentation and challenges that Ethiopia is facing and trying to address at all levels. And we believe that this DDR process can be a key step forward if it is led by, as you said, in an inclusive way, transparent, realistic, but also gender responsive. So let me share with you the hope that I have in the implementation of this process. I want to finish on a happy note because this is a happy day. We're very happy to sign this money and to dedicate that money to Ethiopia, to Ethiopians, because I think the endeavor and the ultimate objective of supporting suffering populations is very important. And I wish the National Rehabilitation Commission every success in this challenging endeavor. And again, thank you to the partners. And I would like also to thank my team, because behind a little signature that I will make today, there's a lot of work by the colleagues in the EU as well. So thank you, ladies, and all the different partners who have made that available.
First of all, Your Excellency, State Minister, Senator Siwasu, Your Excellency, Your Excellency, Ambassador, Head of the National Rehabilitation Commission, Your Excellency, Ambassador,
European Union, Aramco, UNDP, dear colleagues from UN, colleagues from EU, colleagues from the government, from ministry, and from NRC. Very happy to be here today. What I can say, first of all, huge appreciation to the European Union for finding the resources at this particularly difficult time. As we know how difficult it is to get the resources, and to championing the effort, to spare the effort, is absolutely critical. Huge appreciations to the technical team who have worked under the leadership of His Excellency and with your team in UNDP to develop a sound proposal. It looks like we do have a very sound value proposition on the table. We do have the capacity to act and the willingness to act. We have an imperative. The imperative is out there. Indeed, the country needs peace, and building peace without DDR in that particular part of the world is impossible. Of the country is impossible. So this is very good. And now we have resources. So it's time for action. I believe it's time for championing this even further. If I can only say one thing without really taking much time, because all of the important things were said, that anything we can achieve and anything we can do will always be possible only because of our solidarity and because of our ability to work together regardless of the difficulties, political ramifications, or the contextual elements which can come into our way. And they come in all forms and shape. The global development is just being one backdrop of a much larger picture which we have to navigate. Since I have been here since August last year, I have made it a priority to make sure that we all talk to each other and we bring together the value, because in the end, what is at the end of this process is an ordinary human being, is the ex-combatant, is the family, is the community, which needs to benefit of whatever we can make for them so that they can restore the fabric of the society, go back to the productive elements. So in that respect, I really appreciate the fact that we're here. I also must appreciate continued support of the European Union and our partners to elements of democratization, state building, and all our programs which we're rolling out in the north. It is very important that we see it as a holistic package. And as the rest of the UN system, we will continue to support this program through the entire family. I represent here all the UN agencies who may not have been able to join the ceremony today. We will support it through agricultural interventions, or support it through livelihoods, and from all sorts of inputs we can bring to augment and accelerate it. So congratulations. Very happy. Thank you, European Union. Congratulations, UNDP. Thank you, Sam, for your personal leadership as well, and the style, which is very much appreciated. You were a change to the table, which we all appreciate. And let's celebrate also this moment of solidarity we have today, because as we used to say, our success will only be built upon our solidarity. Thank you so much.
Excellency, dear friend Semereta, State Minister of Finance, Excellency, my brother Ambassador Tishoni, Commissioner for the National Rehabilitation Commission, Excellency Ambassador Kobia, EU Ambassador to Ethiopia, my brother and friend Dr. Ramis, UN President and Humanitarian Coordinator, friends. It is with great pleasure and a sense of profound responsibility that we gather here today for the signing ceremony of the contribution agreement by the European Union to the government of Ethiopia for the demobilization and reintegration of ex-combatants. This funding marks a significant milestone in our collective efforts to foster peace, reconciliation, and stability in Ethiopia. The cessation of hostility agreement signed between the federal government of Ethiopia and the TPLF represents a crucial step towards ending conflict and building a foundation for lasting peace. The demobilization and reintegration of ex-combatants are essential components of this process, offering hope for a brighter future for a strategic country in the continent. I want to personally really express my deep appreciation to my sister, my brother, and the government of Ethiopia for the confidence reposed in UNDP to manage the resources for this very, very important, very strategic initiative. So as UNDP assumes this responsibility of managing these funds, we are deeply committed to ensuring its effectiveness and the transparent implementation of the activities that will lead to returning 370,000 persons back to their communities as civilians, ready to contribute to the sustainable development and progress of Ethiopia. Our focus will be on supporting the government of Ethiopia in providing comprehensive support services to ex-combatants, especially through the National Rehabilitation Commission, as these combatants transition to civilian lives. The resources from the EU, and we hope from others to come on board, will enable us to address the complex challenges facing ex-combatants. And many of us who work on this initiative in many parts of the world, those complexities include access to education, access to skills and employment opportunities, psychosocial support, and access to public policy and public discourse. They are an integral part of the transformation that Ethiopia undergoes. By investing in their return to civilian life, we not only empower individuals to rebuild their lives, but also to contribute to the broader goal of national reconciliation, national cohesion, and nation building. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation again to Ambassador Kobia for the generous support. And as you rightly said, we spent weeks and months preparing for this. My predecessor, Turan, was in the lead, and also to acknowledge all of his huge contribution that he made towards this. And of course, Bassa is sitting here. He's the pen holder on this initiative. So I really want to thank you for these efforts. The commitment to peace and development in Ethiopia that we've seen in the work, the contributions that the EU has made here, is a testament of our shared values and aspiration to international and global solidarity. I also want to commend the government of Ethiopia for its unwavering commitment to the peace process and its efforts to create an inclusive and a prosperous society for all its citizens. So as we embark on this journey together, let us remain steadfast in our resolve to build a future where conflict is replaced with dialogue, where violence is replaced with reconciliation, and where despair is replaced with hope. Together, we can create a more peaceful, a more prosperous, and a powerful Ethiopia in Africa. Thank you.